Discover the incredible reason God's plan reveals why Satan and fallen angels cannot be destroyed. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, the heavens shook with murmurs of discord. Glorious seraphim and cherubim, resplendent in holy light, faltered against the gravitational pull of Lucifer's prideful whispers. The archangel Michael, the commander of God's celestial armies, surveyed the expanse of the heavens, where once glimmering stars warred against the encroaching shadow cast by a defiant leader. His heart thrummed with the urgency of divine purpose, as well as sorrow for the fallen, whose cries pierced the tranquility of eternity. Their rebellion resounded like thunder, echoing the daring proclamations of Lucifer, whose luminous face once shone like the dawn, but now mirrored only darkness. "I will ascend, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God," they proclaimed, embracing a fate foretold in the prophecies of old, reminiscent of Isaiah 14:12-15, a cautionary tale echoing with eternal consequences. Here tumult reigned, and Michael's heart burned with righteous resolve. He remained unwaveringly committed to defending the Creator's sacred design. In the profound stillness of the heavenly council, Michael's prayers pierced the chaos, seeking the truth behind this divine rift. Why, he pondered, are these fallen beings, steeped in rebellion, allowed to traverse the realms of creation when their very existence threatens the masterpiece of God's world? Each thought drew him closer to the faces of believers on earth, fragile yet fierce, clinging tenaciously to hope through trials. Darkness bore down upon their lives, and Michael understood that this cosmic battle reverberated into their existence. At that moment, the voice of an earthly cry resonated to celestial heights. It belonged to Job, a man of unyielding faith, rooted firmly in righteousness, whose trials tested the very essence of his being. "Though he slay me, I will hope in him," Job declared, each word like a sword cutting through despair. Job 13:15 ESV. Michael beheld how the heavens gazed upon Job's faithfulness amid suffering, showcasing God's unmatched power to redeem pain into unparalleled testimony. In the unfolding tapestry of divine plan, Michael knew that God's decrees preserved in the sacred scrolls contained the answers to this cosmic conflict. Even as he sensed the weight of a world under siege, he realized the truth woven through 2 Peter 2:4 and Revelation 20:10, that the existence of evil served a higher purpose within God's grand narrative of redemption. The adversary, while given a season of influence, was ultimately destined to glorify the Creator through their inevitable demise. As searching prayers filled the atmosphere, Michael took heart, understanding that humanity too would encounter these dark forces. Their perseverance amid trials would testify to God's unfathomable love. Their sacred choice to respond to His divine invitation for faith would echo through the ages, illuminating the path forward. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey. I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now, let's continue with what the Lord did next. As Michael absorbed the weight of divine revelation, a resplendent light burst forth from the throne of God. It illuminated the divine realm, invigorating Michael for the inevitable clash with darkness. The unresolved tension swirled, whispering of faith's endurance in the face of insurmountable demands. How would God's intricate design unfold in this celestial conflict? The air thickened with anticipation, echoing with the question lurking in the shadows of eternity. For what purpose does God allow Satan and his fallen host to persist amidst his sovereign design? In the 4th year of Jehoiakim, as the earthly kingdom of Judah faced grievous trials, a deeper shadow loomed within the heavenly courts. Michael felt the weight of celestial tension clutch his soul as he stood vigilant, awaiting the unfolding of God's divine purpose amidst the clash of light and darkness. "Behold," the Lord declared from his throne, his voice like the sound of many waters. "I have crafted the tapestry of creation, and even the very arrows of deceit shall play their divine role in the story of redemption." The air buzzed with the power emanating from his presence, illuminating the truths buried deep in the hearts of the faithful. With renewed vigor, Michael's heart resonated with each word, for he understood that the trials faced by humanity were woven with a purpose far beyond their earthly comprehension. Gazing upon the legions of the faithful below, he sensed their struggles, men and women battered by despair, yet unwavering in faith. Among them a figure stood tall, Daniel, the prophet of profound insight, whose prayers ascended like incense before the throne. As the days unfolded, the haunting whispers of the adversary echoed in Daniel's ears, seeking to erode his steadfast belief. "What is the God of Israel to you when the very foundation of your homeland lies in ruins?" came the mocking voice. Yet Daniel lifted his eyes to the heavens, and with unwavering resolve he prayed, "O Lord, I plead for understanding. Reveal to me the mysteries of your plan." In the celestial realm, Michael felt the fervent prayers of Daniel ripple through the fabric of reality. "Lord, grant revelation to your servant," he interceded, aware that the fate of nations hung upon the resolve of one who sought the Almighty with unyielding faith. Then came a moment of divine visitation. A figure clad in brilliance appeared before Daniel, and the atmosphere shimmered with the essence of God's glory. "Daniel," he spoke, "greatly beloved, your words have been heard. I have come because of your prayers, for the very nature of your struggle is not in vain. The unfolding of nations is governed by the power of your plea." The heavenly messenger continued, 70 weeks are determined for your people and for your holy city, to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, and to confirm the covenant with many, guiding them toward everlasting righteousness." Daniel 9:24 ESV. Michael's heart soared as he grasped the significance of the prophecy unfolding before him. Each prayer, each struggle against the forces of darkness weaved a rich narrative of hope and deliverance. The fallen angels, tools of deception, would ultimately serve to heighten the faith of the righteous, guiding them toward the dawn of fulfillment. As the realization settled, Michael turned his gaze to the collective suffering of humanity. For it is in their trials, he recognized, that the faithful are forged in the fire of perseverance. And thus, as flames flickered on the altars of their hearts, it became evident, their journey was a testament to the enduring grace and love of the Creator. The resistance of evil in their lives served as a backdrop for the light of God's glory, illuminating every soul that chose faith over despair. In the celestial harmony, a final proclamation echoed, stirring anticipation for what was yet to come. "The seed of the woman shall crush the head of the serpent," heralding the fulfillment of all that has been promised. With these words, the stage was set for a monumental confrontation between light and shadow, a foreshadowing of the unfolding of God's ultimate plan for redemption. Would the faithful endure to see it realized? What awaited them in the depths of the cosmic arena where divine purpose converged with earthly existence? In the days that followed, Daniel continued his fervent prayers, seeking the face of the Lord amidst the turmoil surrounding him. His heart was burdened, yet hope flickered within as he clung to the promise of the heavenly messenger. "For the affirmation of your covenant shall resound like thunder in the heavens," he whispered, endeavoring to steady his trembling spirit under the weight of prophetic understanding. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the streets of Babylon, Daniel retired to his chamber. There, the air thickened with the fragrance of his incense, an offering of devotion wafting heavenward. Once more, as the twilight wrapped the world in silence, the Lord poured forth wisdom upon him in visions. In a series of vivid images, Daniel saw the kingdoms of the earth rise and fall. A statue, majestic yet fragile, made of gold, silver, brass, iron, and clay, stood before him. This is the dream of the great king, he discerned, as the interpretation flooded his mind. Each part signifies the kingdoms that shall rule, and the final stone, cut without human hands, shall shatter these empires and establish a kingdom that shall never fade. And there was a resonance in his spirit, a certainty that God had not forgotten his people. The vision was a whisper of the divine, revealing that every trial faced would not be in vain, but rather a part of the grand narrative of God's sovereignty. Meanwhile, in the celestial realm, Michael stood watch as the battle lines were drawn. The adversary, a serpent of old, coiled in anger, rallied the fallen to sow discord and deception upon the earth. "These men of Judah," he hissed, "will falter. Their faith is but a flicker in the storm of despair. I will shroud their hope in darkness." The heavens trembled at the wicked schemes of the adversary. Yet Michael rebuked him, declaring, "Your time is limited. The faithful will rise, and their prayers shall prevail." The angels gathered, their countenance fierce and resolute, knowing that each plea from the faithful was a sword drawn against the forces of evil. Back on earth, Daniel stood firm, a voice in the silence. "O Lord, strengthen our hands for the work yet to be done," he prayed, sensing the encroaching shadows, but fixed upon the light of the promise. The revelation of the 70 weeks became a lantern guiding his path forward, illuminating the way for his people amidst the gloom. Then came the word of the Lord again, this time like a fire igniting his spirit. "Fear not, for I am with you. I will bring about the restoration of your people and their heritage. For my plans are to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a future and a hope," he assured Daniel, echoing the ancient promises buried within the covenant. In the midst of these divine assurances, Michael felt the fiery intensity in the prayer of Daniel, observing how the passion of one prophet resonated in the very core of the divine plan. Through his faithfulness, the divine timeline unfolds, heralding redemption for many, Michael mused, realizing that every act of faith carried weight beyond measure. As the echoes of heavenly proclamations filled the atmospheres, a new resolve set upon the angels. "We shall not waver. We shall fight for the exiled." A great anticipation stirred as they awaited the moment when heaven would touch earth, revealing the fullness of God's glorious plan. But amidst the celestial fervor, a new mystery surfaced, weaving into the hearts of the faithful and the heavenly hosts alike. What divine confrontation awaits in the hearts of men? How shall the trials lead to the realization of the kingdom? And thus the story unfolded, holding within it the promise of a great redemption, beckoning all to witness the ever-deepening purpose of the Almighty, as the cosmic clash continued to prepare the way for what was yet to be revealed. And it came to pass, in the days that followed, that Daniel arose with renewed strength from his prayer. The visions were heavy upon him, and the burden for his people grew thicker yet. As daylight broke through the high windows of his chamber, he felt the urgency in his spirit, a call to discern and understand the full weight of the revelation. "Yea," he proclaimed, "I shall not rest until I grasp the fullness of God's purpose." With fervent resolve, he turned his face toward heaven, seeking the wisdom of the Almighty. "O God of my ancestors, grant me clarity, and make known unto me the mysteries concealed within your sovereign will." Meanwhile, in the heavenly courts, the tension was palpable. Michael, the archangel, surveyed the battlefield with fervor, aware that darkness was growing bolder. Daily he heard the prayers of Daniel rising like incense before the throne, and with each supplication the heavenly hosts were stirred to action. "The prayers of a righteous man avail much," he declared, echoing the truth found in the scrolls. The accuser loomed in the shadows, wary but cunning, seeking whom he might devour. With words wrapped in deceit, he whispered to the hearts of men, attempting to sow seeds of doubt and despair. "Look upon their plight," he taunted. "They are a people scattered and broken. Their God is afar off, blind to their suffering." But Michael, steadfast in his faith, rallied the celestial warriors. "We shall stand as a bulwark, for we know the promises of God are unshakable." Back in Babylon, Daniel received a vision yet more profound. He beheld a great conflict as nations surged against one another, all under the watchful gaze of the Most High. Then he saw a figure radiant and pure, standing amidst the tumult. "This," the voice echoed through the chambers of his heart, "is the righteous one who is to come. Through him kingdoms shall crumble, and every chain shall be broken." Shaken yet emboldened, Daniel understood that the trials of his people were not mere misfortunes, but a divine crucible shaping their faith. The suffering was a precursor to an unfathomable glory, a pathway set before them that led to redemption, as foretold by the prophets of old. "For I know the plans I have for you," declares the Lord, "plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." At that moment, the anguish of Israel echoed in the heavens, each cry resonating through the folds of creation. "But Lord," Daniel interjected with passion, "when shall we see your hand move? When shall the 24 elders cast their crowns before you in triumph?" "He is coming," resounded a voice from the throne, "but first the hearts of men must be prepared him. The trials you face now are the very vessels through which my glory shall be revealed." As dawn turned to dusk, the light of understanding pierced through the darkness. "Ah," Daniel exclaimed, "the kingdom is at hand, and though the serpent may strike, it is under your heel that he shall be crushed." Yet beneath this glimmer of hope, a shadow lingered, a mystery, unsealed yet unfathomable. What then of the eternal adversary? Why is his end not imminent? What sovereign purpose lies within the heart of God that allows even the fallen to persist? Thus, with this weight of divine tension hanging in the air, both in the celestial realm and the chambers of Daniel, the stage was set for the unfolding of monumental truths, echoing back to the question of purpose and pain. What encompassed the unfolding of God's plan in the midst of suffering? And so the divine narrative continued, poised at the brink of revelation, waiting for the moment when the answer would roar forth like the sound of rushing waters, unveiling God's intricate design for both the sacred and the strife. And it came to pass that as the sun began its descent, casting long shadows over the land, Daniel remained in quiet contemplation. His heart heavy with the vision, yet vibrant with hope, he sensed the presence of the Most High. "O God of Israel," he cried out, "reveal thy purpose further still. Who then shall stand in the day of trouble? Who shall endure when your wrath is poured out upon the heathen?" In that moment, the atmosphere thickened, and Daniel's eyes were opened once more. He beheld a multitude of stars, bright in the night sky, each one a reflection of the glory of God. "What is man that you are mindful of him?" he mused aloud, his spirit yearning for understanding, anchored fiercely in faith, yet unraveling with questions. As he pondered, there arose in the heavens a voice both powerful and gentle, reverberating through the realm with angelic melody. "Daniel, beloved of the Lord, fear not, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard." It was Gabriel, that celestial messenger, and he drew near with an array of wisdom. "The end of the adversary shall indeed come, but his days linger for a reason beyond your comprehension. Know this, through his deception many shall turn to the light, their hearts refined as silver in the furnace." Daniel swallowed hard at these words. So it is not that you have abandoned us, but that through our trials you are bringing forth a greater good? Indeed, Gabriel affirmed, for even now the hearts of many are being tested. The dross shall be removed, and they will emerge as pure gold. The sovereign Lord desires a people who seek him earnestly, who know his name and trust in his steadfast love. In the heavenly courts, the accuser raged against the saints of God, seeking to break their spirit with lies. But Michael stood resolute, armed with the truth that shone like a sword. Stand firm, men of Judah. The Lion of the tribe of Judah will soon roar, scattering the foes of our God. For it is written, He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. From the end of the ages, the echo of prophecy rang in Daniel's ears, drawing him closer to the heartbeat of the Almighty. "O Lord," he cried out, "how long must your people endure this plight? What is the appointed time for the deliverance of Israel?" Gabriel's countenance shone brighter than the sun, overwhelming him with its radiance. The answer is at hand, for the days of trial are woven into the tapestry of eternity. Know that there shall come a ruler, a king who will reign in righteousness. He shall pierce the darkness, and through him will you see the victory of heaven met upon the earth. As Daniel gazed into the flickering flame of his lamp, his heart beat in tandem with the forthtelling. So we are to be a generation waiting in hope, ever reliant on your promises. Correct, Gabriel responded, his voice affirming, for the unfolding of this grand narrative awaits his perfect timing. The hearts of many will rise in faith, sufficient for the day of trouble. Thus Daniel arose from his place, strengthened by the discourse of heaven. Hope swelled within him like the waves of the sea, washing over his exhaustion and fears. "The time is coming," he shouted to the walls of Babylon. "With every prayer we write our history in the heavens, drawing near to the purposes of God." And as the night deepened, a profound understanding lingered with Daniel, a mystery divinely set before him. What greater purpose waits to be unveiled through the suffering and trials that accompany his people? The truth loomed large over him, beckoning his spirit to ponder anew. In the silence that followed, he contemplated the eternal weight of glory that faced those who would endure, waiting in hope for the revelation that would inevitably unfold. What then will be the ultimate outcome of God's redemptive story? The answer, as yet hidden, lay at the very heart of the divine plan, awaiting the appointed hour for its glorious manifestation. And it came to pass that the dawn broke, its rays gently illuminating the streets of Babylon, awakening the city from slumber. Daniel's heart, now stirred by heavenly discourse, found him at prayer, interceding for his people with fervent supplication. "Great God of heaven," Daniel implored, "remember your covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Stir in the hearts of the captives a longing for Jerusalem and a passion for your ways." Thus he prayed, his voice a whisper among the bustling cities, calling unto the Lord, who encompassed all time and understanding. The burden he bore was heavy, for he knew their condition, oppressed but not forsaken, lost yet not abandoned. As the hours passed and the sun ascended higher in the sky, a vision ignited before him. He saw not just the heart of Babylon, but a vast tapestry filled with multitudes, weaving through trials and tribulations, each thread representing a soul in the hand of the Almighty. Then again, as if summoned by his thoughts, Gabriel appeared in the brilliance of heavenly light. "Daniel, you are favored above many," the angel spoke with authority, "for the Most High has heard your cries, and your daily resolve does not go unnoticed." "What is this divine tapestry I behold?" Daniel inquired, bewildered yet eager to grasp the depths of destiny unfolding before him. Gabriel's countenance softened. "It is the story of redemption, interspersed with both trial and triumph. You see, the adversary, though seemingly at large, is but a shadow that serves the greatest light. As darkness seeks to consume, so also does it lead many to the illumination of faith. Daniel's spirit stirred within him, for he began to comprehend the true weight of glory that resided in suffering. So, you tell me that his purpose transcends all evil? That in the shadows light shall shine brighter still? Indeed, replied Gabriel, for just as iron sharpens iron, so are the hearts of the faithful refined by the fires of adversity. The chains of oppression shall shatter, and those who once languished shall arise, robed in righteousness. Who then shall bring this deliverance? Daniel pressed on, his urgency palpable. Who shall gather the scattered, the remnants of Israel? With a mighty gesture, Gabriel pointed towards the horizon, where the sky met the earth. Look to the east, for there shall come forth a messenger, heralding a new dawn. This king, a shepherd to his people, shall bring forth justice and mercy. Daniel fell to his knees, awash in awe, as the angel spoke of the one foretold, the Messiah, whose coming had been woven through the very fabric of prophecy. But Lord, he interjected, will your people recognize him? Will they see past the veil of their own understanding? In that day, Gabriel declared, many will seek the truth, and their eyes shall be opened. Yet there shall also be those whose hearts remain hardened. But be not dismayed, for every challenge shapes the path toward grace. As the celestial light dimmed, Daniel felt an insatiable longing stir within him. He understood, in part, that the trials faced by his people were part of God's magnificent plan, a divine strategy for redemption sown through centuries of waiting. I will be strong, Daniel resolved, rising with renewed strength. For your promises, O Lord, are as enduring as the heavens. We shall proclaim your greatness and prepare for the coming of our King. And as the day waned, a foreboding shadow crept over his soul, reminding him that even amidst promises there would be opposition. The adversary lurked, seeking to thwart the plans of God. Yet I hold fast, Daniel vowed, for the Lord God reigns, and his purposes shall prevail. And thus the certainty echoed within him. The grand tapestry of the divine plan awaited its destined revelation. What then would unfold, when the full scope of God's sovereign will was revealed, clashing wondrously with the unseen powers of darkness? The answer awaited in the profound depths of eternity. And it came to pass that the sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows over the city of Babylon, when Daniel found himself once again at the river. For his spirit sought solace by the flowing waters, a symbol of God's eternal faithfulness. He pondered the words of Gabriel and the promise of a coming king with deep reverence and anticipation. As he lifted his gaze to the heavens, the weight of his people's suffering imprinted upon his heart. O Lord, he uttered, show me the path of hope for Israel. Deliver us from the hands of our oppressors, that we may worship you freely in the land you promised to our forefathers. In that moment of desperation, a voice thundered from the heavens, breaking through the stillness of twilight. Daniel, beloved of God, your prayers have risen like incense before the Lord. Take heart, for a revelation shall be bestowed upon you. Suddenly the skies opened, and a vision unfurled before him. He beheld the four winds of heaven blowing across the earth. They stirred the waters of the great sea, and from the heart of the tumult 4 great beasts emerged, each different from the others, signifying the kingdoms that would rise and fall upon the earth. Daniel's heart raced as the beasts tore through his thoughts. What do they signify, O Lord? He implored, trembling with both fear and curiosity. The voice continued, These beasts represent the kingdoms of man, who shall oppress my people in their pursuit of power and pride. Yet they shall not prevail, for there is one who sits upon the throne, whose reign will be everlasting. As the vision unfolded, Daniel witnessed a figure, like the Son of Man, approaching the Ancient of Days. In the grandeur of his glory, he was given dominion, glory, and a kingdom, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom one that shall not be destroyed, proclaimed the voice, bringing a peace that enveloped Daniel's troubled heart. Amidst this revelation, a tremor ran through Daniel's spirit. But what of the remnant, Lord? What of those who are held captive in darkness and despair? Fear not, the voice reassured him, for even in captivity I am at work. I shall gather my people from the corners of the earth. The trials they endure shall serve as a crucible, refining them as silver, that they may emerge as gold. Many shall turn and seek me. Yet within the depths of Daniel's heart, sorrow mingled with hope as he thought of the adversary and the darkness that loomed over the nations. Will the enemy be allowed to remain unchallenged? Will the deceiver continue in his schemes? The reply from the celestial realm resonated. The adversary shall be permitted for a time to enact his wickedness, as a test for the heart of mankind. It is through their refusal to succumb to despair that my glory shall be magnified. Daniel trembled at the weight of this truth. The very existence of darkness would serve a purpose, guiding the faithful towards the radiant light of his presence. Then may we find strength in battle and clarity in confusion, that we do not falter in our faith. Indeed, my servant, the voice affirmed, for the truth that shall emerge from the darkness is that my plan encompasses even the works of the adversary. For in the end every knee shall bow, and every tongue confess that I am Lord. Humbled and enlightened, Daniel understood that the tapestry of God's sovereign will was more intricate than he could fathom. His heart filled with divine assurance. The struggles of his people would usher in a greater glory through the coming of the Messiah, the King who would conquer not just the physical bondage, but the very chains of sin. As dusk transformed into night, Daniel remained at the river's edge, pondering the unfathomable depths of God's plan. The weight of revelation lay heavy upon him, unveiling the truth that the adversary had a role in this divine story that was yet to unfold. What then awaited Israel and the world beyond the horizon's edge? What greater shadows would dance with light before the dawn of fulfillment? The answer lingered, a beckoning mystery of hope, yet to be revealed in the sovereign plan of the Almighty. And it came to pass, as Daniel lingered by the river, pondering the significance of the vision now etched within his heart, that a wind swept over the waters, stirring them to life. The tranquility of the night was pierced as a greater than earthly presence drew near, and the waters shimmered under the light of stars, now witnesses to the unfolding of divine purpose. Then, behold, a figure clothed in brightness emerged from the depths of the river. The countenance of this being shone like the sun, and a voice like thunder echoed forth, saying, O Daniel, one greatly beloved, be not afraid, for the secrets of the Most High have been entrusted to you, and I am sent to illuminate before you the paths of the future. Daniel, though filled with trepidation, steadied his heart. What is it that you wish to reveal, O divine messenger? He implored, yearning for wisdom that would enlighten him and his people. The luminous figure gestured towards the heavens, and the stars appeared to swirl like a great tapestry of destiny. The kingdoms which you saw rise from the depths are indeed but vessels in the hand of the sovereign Lord. Each beast embodies a power that shall come upon the earth. Yet fear not, for their time is but for a season, and my people shall not be forsaken in their trials. As the vision deepened, Daniel saw a multitude gathered before the Ancient of Days, their faces marked with a mixture of hope and despair. "Lord, how shall they endure the oppression? How shall they persevere through the darkness?" he cried, the weight of his people's suffering swelling in his soul. The figure softly spoke, "Hear this. Their afflictions are but birthing pains, leading towards glory. I shall leave a remnant, ones who shall hold fast to the covenant, who shall rise as a beacon in the valley of shadows. Their faith shall be their shield, their prayers a fragrance before my throne." With eyes wide open, Daniel bore witness as the rivers before him intertwined like veins of destiny, the currents now reflecting the struggles of nations and the hearts of kings. In that moment, he felt the pulse of history, beating in time with the heart of the Almighty. "Yet there are those who resist, those who stand against my purpose," the messenger continued, his voice now resonating with solemn authority. "The accuser of the brethren, the ancient serpent, shall continue to sow discord among the nations. But this serves a purpose, for I have ordained that the confrontation between light and darkness must come to pass, a test of the steadfastness of my chosen." Understanding began to dawn upon Daniel's heart as he perceived the interconnectedness of trials and glory. "So it is through resistance and perseverance, Lord, that your glory shall be manifest?" he sought to clarify. "Indeed, my beloved," the voice assented. "Thus I declare, the adversary shall remain for a time, permitted to challenge the faith of man. Through this, a more profound revelation of grace and mercy shall unfold. Those who remain steadfast in faith, who cling to my promises, will witness the coming of Shiloh, the Prince of Peace." A great awe filled Daniel as he foresaw the promise of a deliverer emerging from the trials ahead. "But how shall they recognize him, Lord?" he asked, now understanding the depths of his inquiry. "In the fullness of time he shall be made manifest, the one who redeems Israel from the trials. His suffering will pave the way for triumph, and through his wounds my people shall be healed," the figure proclaimed. As the revelation settled into Daniel's spirit, a new vision ignited within his mind, how the stones of despair could become a monument of hope. "O Lord, what of those who do not believe? What of the hearts that turn away?" The messenger responded, "The fields shall ripen for harvest, and a great call will sound. My spirit shall draw all nations, even unto him. From ashes he shall bring forth beauty, and from mourning praise." As the light began to recede back into the heavenly realm, Daniel understood that the forthcoming tribulation would not only reveal human frailty, but also magnify the boundless love of God. His heart swelled, infused with hope, as he sensed the looming release of grace. And as he watched the celestial vision fade, a stirring in his spirit beckoned more profound questions. What would become of the remnant in that testing hour? How would the faithful stand firm against the might of the adversary? Each trembling question lingered, a holy mystery unfolding in the tapestry of God's sovereign plan. The dawn of revelation was on the horizon, promising a greater light to come, a beacon of unfathomable hope shining through the shadows. And it came to pass, as the celestial light dimmed and the river's surface settled, that Daniel remained in contemplative silence, his heart still abounding with the weight of the truths unveiled. He gazed into the depths of the waters, feeling the swirl of thoughts and visions stir within his soul like a tempest, for he knew the implications of what had been shown to him. "Lord," he whispered into the stillness, "if the adversary is allowed his time to challenge the hearts of men, how then shall the faithful navigate this dire time? How shall they find strength to endure?" As he spoke, the very air around him shimmered once again, and the brightness re-emerged, gathering like a cloud of holy fire. The messenger appeared anew, this time with a fervor greater than before, resonating with purpose. "O Daniel, The trials that shall befall your people are indeed a prelude to the greater revelation of divine power. Behold, the hand of God is not shortened that it cannot save, nor is his ear heavy that it cannot hear. With a wave of divine grace, the figure gestured forth, and suddenly the vastness of time spread before Daniel like a grand tapestry woven of light and darkness. He beheld scenes of prophets, kings, and the faithful, each thread interlaced with trials and triumphs of the Spirit. As you have seen, the darkness shall rise, but it shall not prevail. For my covenant stands firm as the everlasting foundation. Remember, those whom I have called, I have also equipped. The Spirit of the Most High shall be their comfort and their guide. Even in the furnace of affliction shall they be as gold refined, their faith tested and found genuine. Daniel's spirit soared at the assurance given, yet doubt still lingered. But what of those who stray? What recompense awaits the rebellious who refuse to heed the warnings issued from on high? Fear not, O Daniel, the voice resounded like the roar of many waters, for I have prepared a way for the lost, a balm for the wounded. Even as the tares are sown among the wheat, the day shall come when the harvest will be gathered. The righteous shall shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. The great shepherd will seek the lost sheep, and those who turn from their wicked ways shall find mercy. In that moment the heavens opened wide, and Daniel beheld the Son of Man, crowned in glory, standing before the Ancient of Days, surrounded by an innumerable host of angels. The sight was overwhelming, and he fell prostrate, awestruck by the magnificence of the scene. The hour is coming, the messenger continued, when the very gates of hell shall be tested against the unyielding fortress of faith. The enemy may roar like a lion, but my chosen will stand firm. I shall not leave them, nor forsake them. Have placed my seal upon their hearts, for they are mine. As Daniel pondered these divine declarations, a deep understanding began to settle in his heart. The eternal struggle was indeed a manifestation of his love. The faithfulness of the Lord would sustain his people through the fires of tribulation, and in their darkest hours the light of his presence would shine forth to guide them. But even still, O Lord, Daniel queried, stirred by the mysteries of divine providence, what becomes of the adversary? How is it that he and his followers are not consumed in this divine plan? The messenger's gaze pierced deep into Daniel's soul, revealing layers of divine wisdom. This, O Daniel, is the crux of the mystery. The enemy serves a purpose, however dark it may seem. Their existence is also a testament to the sovereign will of the Almighty. For even in their rebellion my glory shall be revealed. Their impending judgment shall declare the righteousness of the sovereign Lord, and mercy shall be magnified for those who choose the light. With that revelation echoing out across the ages, Daniel's heart beat in rhythm with the unfolding story of redemption, and he understood with new clarity. The unfolding of God's plan would not merely vanquish evil, but reveal a deeper grace, irrevocable and profound. As the messenger began to fade, leaving Daniel with an unfathomable sense of hope and expectation, one final message rang clear. Prepare, O seer of mysteries, for the time hastens when the full knowledge of my plan will burst forth, illuminating the path for all who will believe. For behold, the mystery of iniquity is but a shadow of the glorious light to come, an everlasting promise beckoning from the horizon. And thus the tapestry of divine purpose began to unfold in its majestic entirety. As Daniel continued to stand at the river's edge, the weight of revelation fortified his spirit. The visions of past trials and future glories danced vividly in his mind, interwoven with the promise of retribution and grace. The heavens pulsated with excitement, for the appointed time approached when darkness would finally meet its match in the brightness of divine light. The adversary has his role, the messenger had affirmed, but soon the chains of deceit will crumble under the weight of truth. In the fullness of time, the cries of the faithful would echo through the halls of history. The sound of Daniel's prayers, alongside his fellow believers across generations, would rise like a sweet incense before the throne of God, merging with the voices of those who had endured. Each cry of desperation ignited a spark of hope. Each whisper of faith fortified the pillars of heaven. And in the quiet corners of the world, the hearts of the righteous would be prepared. Among them, a remnant emerged, strengthened by the fiery trials they faced. Yet do not fear, they would proclaim, for the Lord our God is a defender of the oppressed. He watches over the faithful, and in Him we place our trust. Scenes of heavenly rejoicing accompanied the culmination of God's redemptive plan for humanity, sweeping through the heavens like waves crashing upon the shore. Michael, the archangel, stood tall, war-ready, anointed with divine strength. Now is the hour, he declared to the hosts of heaven, when we shall fight not for mere survival, but for a sweeping victory over the adversary. And it came to pass that the Lamb, foreseen in visions and prophecies, descended from the realms of glory, his countenance radiant and pure. His name echoed through eternity. Jesus, the Messiah, the King of Kings, who comes to gather his people and offer redemption from sin's cruel grip. The promise of the Son of Man, who would crush the serpent's head, resonated throughout creation. The very heavens rejoiced, heralding his arrival. Yet as he stepped into the world of mankind, the adversary, coiling like a serpent, strove in vain to thwart his mission. He shall not prevail, the archangel Michael proclaimed, and the armies of heaven aligned to manifest God's will. The day arrived when Jesus, with wounds engraved in his hands, declared victory over death itself. The resurrection shattered the darkness that had long dominated human hearts, and the truth rang clear. It is finished. In that moment, the curse was broken, the chains were undone, and the path to everlasting life was eternally established. In the celestial realm, every angel rejoiced. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. The triumph of the Lamb echoes through all eternity. Heaven and earth sang praises, and the faithful rejoiced, their tears of suffering transformed into tears of joy. Every struggle had paved the way for this victory, pointing to the glory of God's unwavering love. Thus know, O faithful ones, the messenger proclaimed to Daniel, who stood in humble awe, you have witnessed the mysteries of God's plan, revealing that every trial etches the story of redemption deep into the hearts of believers. The adversary is allowed to persist, not for despair, but to weave a glorious tapestry of grace that leads humanity home. In this grand culmination, the Lord revealed his ultimate purpose, to invite each soul into a relationship founded on love. For no longer would they be slaves to sin, but children of light, adopted into his family. The heavens bore witness to a new era, an era of grace, hope, and redemption. From the ashes of trials arose the beauty of faith, and every accolade of the adversary became a platform for the faithful to demonstrate resilience. And so, the story of Daniel intertwined with countless others, a library of faithfulness authored by the divine. This narrative passed from generation to generation, reminding the world that the presence of darkness only serves to illuminate the true light, the everlasting truth of Christ. As the sacred history folded into a future that beckoned with hope, the call emerged, a divine invitation resounding through every heart. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. Will you let me in? And with this, every believer became a beacon, urging others to heart-stirring faith. Hear this and share it far and wide, for the Lord is coming again, and the faithful shall be gathered as the stars of the night. Join this revolution of grace and tell the world, This is the moment to help spread biblical truth. You need to subscribe now to stay connected to God's Word, and don't wait even one more second to share this powerful testimony. Leave a like now to help spread God's Word through the algorithm, and comment your spiritual reflections, how this biblical story impacted your faith. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear God's truth. Together, let us illuminate the path to hope and redemption for all souls seeking the light.